Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements as well. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I'm running a promotion in May. So there's some information in the description box below. If you're interested in a personal reading, it's a good time to get one. Okay, my friends, let's get started. Let's see, we're going to use the tarot cards right away. We're going to do a Celtic cross today for Sagittarius. So let's see, what is the current energy around Sagittarius for the week ahead? Okay, the Five of Wands in reverse has come flying out. Let's find out what the obstacle is and then see how they fit together. Okay, so the Eight of Wands is sort of appearing in the reverse as well. So that's interesting because that makes me feel, Sagittarius, that right now there may be something that you're not completely or fully coming into acceptance on. And it could have to do with a conflict that you're having with a group of people or someone in specific. And it's almost like you haven't completely come to terms with this or accepted it. There's a lot of sort of competitive energy when you look at this Five of Wands. So this Five of Wands sort of brings up a lot of competitive energy where there may be like arguments, and someone here, maybe you, Sagittarius, is maybe trying to avoid an argument or avoid a conflict here at their own cost. So at your own detriment, you may be keeping quiet about something that you intuitively feel isn't quite in alignment, or, you know, you're really wanting to collaborate with these folks, and so you're trying to smooth things over, and, you know, as opposed to sort of doing what's best for you in this situation, it's becoming difficult for you to not want to just make this all better. You know what I mean? By somehow sort of avoiding things, not completely accepting that this dynamic isn't serving you and it's not really working. And the obstacle here, as we can see, is the Eight of Wands in reverse, which can be a time where intuitively we feel one thing and we're not really going for it. We're not trusting it. There's sort of a tendency when the Eight of Wands appears reversed that we're hesitating, or we're in denial about something. We're not completely accepting what our intuition is telling us. And we're sort of like, no. Maybe if I do the following, I can make this all better. And it's interesting, Sagittarius, because it almost feels like at what cost? Like, because it does feel when I see these two in reverse that it's at your own detriment, that something that like it's almost like your portion of the agenda here is getting sacrificed because you're sort of trying to smooth things over, and intuitively it's almost like you feel like you should almost separate from this, like that maybe this isn't the place for you, that maybe these aren't the people to collaborate with. And so let's find out what's on top of mind for Sagittarius in this situation. What's sort of in the conscious mind right now? Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands. So this is interesting because this really makes me feel like you have these opportunities in mind, right? Like top of mind for you are these new beginnings and new opportunities. And because they're aces, they're potentials, right? So you have to sort of grab these potentials. You have to reach for them. You have to be willing to take a step into a new beginning. And seeing Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands is interesting because it feels like whatever it is that you're focused on, you have an emotional attachment to, and also sort of a connection to this with respect to, it just really makes sense for you. Like when you think about this opportunity, you're like, yeah, I that really resonates for me. That's a path that I really feel connected to. There's so much inspiration for me in this path, and it's a seed that I want to plant to see where it could take me. And it almost feels like you're really focused on intense creativity and sort of really opening up that pathway to inspiration. And I feel like you're in the wrong group of people here. The people that you're trying to work with or collaborate with are not, it's not where you're going to be able to really let this grow and blossom. Seeing the Ace of Cups is also similar in the sense that it's a new connection that you want to see develop. And I think that's why you may be trying to smooth things over. You may be looking at this as, okay, I have a chance to do something that I feel very passionate about with these folks. But there's just so much conflict in this group. No one can see eye to eye. And intuitively, I think you're noticing that the energy is just unfocused, that the agenda is not the same. Like everyone has different intentions. It's like a battle of egos here, very conflicted. And so seeing the Ace of Cups here tells me that your heart is in the right place, that you're really wanting a positive outcome and you're wanting to create connections with people that will ultimately form relationships, collaborations, partnerships, and I think your intentions are really to get something off the ground, but you may be with the wrong people. These may not be the collaborators that you're needing to work with, and that's okay. Everything teaches us something, right? So I wonder if this situation that you're in right now is teaching you that your mindset and your agenda, your potential that you want to see expand isn't being served here. That doesn't mean that it's not going to be served, period. It just means that this might not be the right group to accomplish what you have in mind. Let's see what's driving this. What's at the base of the matter here? What's at the root of this? Queen of Swords in reverse. Isn't that interesting? So the Queen of Swords in reverse is an interesting energy to see in this position, because the Queen of Swords upright is very much looking for the truth. She, that energy, gender aside, is looking for the truth. She seeks truth, and she is very unbiased when she makes decisions, when she's in the upright. Very logical, great source of counsel, integrity, honesty, intelligence. Now, when we see the Queen of Swords in reverse, it can be a bit sharp and the communication can get a little bit cool. So this makes me feel like there is a presence in this group of people where there may be sort of something triggering you, someone being very cold with their communication. They're sort of in a place where they might even be very like kind of harsh with how they express themselves, and the way they're communicating isn't about for the team or for the group. It's very much kind of biting and harsh, and it almost feels like their words are triggering. If this is someone in this group, it's like their words are triggering you into wanting to people please a little bit here, and just to smooth things over. Because, yeah, it's interesting. There's something about this that is keeping you in this situation. And I'm wondering if this Queen of Swords in reverse is someone that you feel like they have such good skills when it comes to sort of looking at a situation, and they're always sort of in a place where they have a lot of wisdom, but for some reason this is coming through as someone who is now sort of become very sharp, and they're almost a little bit indifferent as to how it affects the group. And so I'm wondering if that's what's creating all this conflict, is that there's someone around you right now, Sagittarius, who is indifferent to how their communication impacts others in this group. And intuitively, there's like this feeling that this is not where you're going to thrive. But for some reason, it almost feels like you're trying to push this through just by sacrificing what you want to do for the group. And I don't know. It's not feeling like that's going to serve you. Let's keep going here. What are the past influences? Ooh, that's too many cards, but let's look. Oh, interesting. So past influences, if we look at these three cards, we see the Emperor in reverse with the Two of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. And this, in the context of what I'm seeing here, tells me that you've had situations like this before where you didn't quite trust yourself to be the leader, so you almost took a back seat to someone else's leadership. And I can see here that, you really tried to see eye to eye with someone because you didn't trust yourself to be the leader. And seeing the Seven of Pentacles here shows me that you made a decision, like you were sitting here thinking, should I follow the lead of someone else or should I take the lead myself? And I think on one hand, you were like, okay, well, here's this other person that I could follow their lead in the Two of Cups. And then there's this energy of the Emperor where it makes me feel like you didn't quite trust yourself to be the leader. So that might be why you're sort of sticking around this situation and trying to make the best of it. It almost feels like you're trying to make the best of a situation where communication is not, it's not optimal. It's not optimal. The communication in this group, maybe it's whoever's in the lead of this group. This could be a work situation for some of you. This could be even a family situation where, there's a member of the family who everyone sort of tiptoes around because nobody wants to rock the boat too much. You know what I mean? And I feel like in the past you have deferred to others because you didn't trust yourself to take the lead. And this might be an opportunity for you to take the lead by sort of deciding that this group dynamic or this interaction with others it's not serving your desire for a new beginning and a new start and new connections. Coming up in the future, we see the Magician coming through in the reverse. So that, it's interesting. It makes me feel like coming up, you're still going to feel like you can't do something that I think you can do. And it makes me feel like you're doubting your abilities, even though you have all the tools to make something happen here. It just feels like you might need new collaborators. We'll see what other energies come through here for you, Sagittarius, but it almost feels like you just need to find people that are like-minded, people that see things the way you see things. It's almost like there's so much, there's just so much conflict here that I don't think anyone feels heard or like anything can grow in this environment because it's just so indifferent. It's almost like you've got a bunch of leaders sitting around a table and everyone wants to be the leader. But in order to accomplish something, it's like you have to work as a team. You have to work as a group. And I think that is difficult in this moment for some reason. It's proving to be very challenging. Now, let's see how you see yourself in all of this. Oh, interesting. So you're not really feeling fulfilled. 10 of Cups in reverse makes me feel like you're not enjoying this process. You're having a difficult time choosing fulfillment because of the environment that you find yourself in. It's not, excuse me, it's not one where you're going to be able to thrive or have this nurturing environment for a new beginning. 10 of Cups also signals that it could be the ending here. You could be deciding that there's just too many disputes, there's too much harmony out of balance here. There's disharmony, right? There's disputes, disharmony, miscommunications. It's a struggle to keep these relationships going, and I think you're starting to realize that it's unrealistic to expect that this is going to succeed. This is not a successful collaboration. You know what I mean? And for some of you, this could even be a relationship with one person. It could be that you've had a hard time seeing eye to eye with someone and you find that they're being indifferent and aloof and they're not careful with how they communicate, and it's coming across really harsh. And so although you desire a new beginning and a connection that is inspiring and passionate and leads to a lot of feelings of fulfillment, happiness, joy, and that connectivity, you're not finding it here. with this Ten of Cups in reverse. You're just not finding it. There's too much disharmony in this dynamic, and it could be, depending on who's listening, because it's a general reading, it could be a relationship with one person, it could be a family dynamic, it could be a relationship with people in a work environment, or a collaboration where you're trying to achieve a goal, and there's just too many disputes, too many conflicts. Now let's see how your outer manifestation is. How does Sagittarius come across to others in this situation? Oh, look at that. The star. So isn't that interesting? So you're really trying to make the best of this. And I see that with these two aces. And I think that the people in the group, it almost feels like whoever's involved in this kind of wishes that you would step up, because they like your energy. It feels like your energy in this situation is healing. And there also is this feeling that you will, or you could, that there's a potential here for you to go off on your own. That you realize that in this dynamic, there's too much dispute, there's too much conflict, and you might just sort of end it and go off on your own when I see the star card. But because of where the star card is landing in your reading, makes me feel like there are people involved in this situation, or people in general, that see you as being a more healing energy than the energy of this group or this relationship. So this could mean that if, let's say it's a one-on-one relationship, that other people see you as being, such a healing energy, and so open to new possibilities, and trying to create a space where new potential is possible. And yet it's just such out of alignment for you. Like there's so much disharmony here. And so you might be seen in this situation as the person who brings the good vibes, the person who's positive and optimistic in the face of some of this aloofness and indifference. I don't think this Queen of Swords is you. I think that this is someone that you're dealing with. And it feels to me like, for some reason, you're doubting that you can influence things positively. And it might be because there's no changing this dynamic, and you might have to go off on your own to discover this new potential that you've got your mind on. It might not serve you to be in this group. Now let's see what your hopes and fears are. Hopes and fears, isn't that interesting, is the Hermit in reverse. And that really makes me feel like one of your fears is that you will be doing this alone, and you don't want to. I feel like a part of you is like, but I really wanted to do this as part of a collaboration, or I really wanted this relationship to work, or I really wanted this to be more positive engagement. And you're finding that you might be retreating and pulling away. And that's sort of benefiting you in some ways, but it's also creating a bit of fear, because you may not be wanting to be alone or do this alone, or to sort of face that this needs acceptance, that you have to accept that there's no denying that the collaboration is failing, that it's not working anymore. And that might be bothering you, because you're like, well, then I'm doing this alone again. Like, it almost feels like an again vibe, where you're like, I have to do this again by myself. And it's interesting, because I think I say that because of this past dynamic where you were in a situation with someone and you didn't trust yourself to take the lead. You may have deferred to them and ended up feeling like that might have been, you might not have given yourself enough credit here, in the past. And so I think there's a part of you that is realizing through this collaboration or relationship or dynamic with a group of people that you're starting to see where you fit and where you don't fit. So with respect to the question of what is this experience teaching me about myself, it feels like it's teaching you who you work well with and who you don't work well with, and what you appreciate in someone's communication style and what you find to be like not in alignment with you. A lot of miscommunications, lots of arguments, lots of disputes and conflict. It's not your vibe. Yeah, let's see what the potential outcome is here. Oh, Temperance. I love that. You've got so many major arcana here, Sagittarius. I feel like you're really in the middle of something big. And bottom of the deck, we see the Queen of Wands upright. So that makes me feel like you're going to be in balance with this situation ending. I think you're going to accept it, and I think you're going to come to terms with the fact that doing things on your own sometimes is better than doing things in a group where there's so much conflict, where you're not in alignment, and it's just like trying to almost force something, and it's not moving. And so it's almost like the outcome as Temperance makes me feel like you're going to see where there can be harmony for you, and how there is this sort of purpose in this narrative that you're in right now, and it's teaching you that you don't belong in this dynamic, that this dynamic doesn't serve you, and that doing things on your own for the time being might help you attract people that do work well with you, and that there's nothing to fear. It's almost like seeing that Hermit in reverse here tells me that you feel like a misfit, like you don't fit in, and you don't fit in here, but that doesn't mean that you don't fit in anywhere. I actually feel like this is a reading for a starseed or a light worker, because seeing the star with the Hermit in reverse to me says starseed right there, that you don't feel like you fit in, and that you have these wonderful positive intentions with this Ace of Cups and Ace of Wands and the Queen of Rods in reverse, or not in reverse, on the bottom of the deck. You have all of these really positive intentions that are full of love and inspiration, but you can't get them off the ground where you are right now. And that's feeling to you like, well, I must be a misfit. I must be someone who just doesn't fit in. And that's where I'm feeling that starseed light worker vibe, because you're needing to be present in an atmosphere that feels out of balance with your energy. And I feel like this could even be taken as a message that not only could this be a relationship with one person or a family or a group of people, this could just be your experience here on earth at this moment. Could be that you find there's too much conflict, there's a lack of harmony, there's so many misunderstandings and so many disputes that seem like almost like like it's just craziness to you, because you're like, why doesn't everyone have these same intentions and this same vibration? And I feel like you don't have the same vibration as the people around you, but your job might just be to continue to hold that energy and be present in that energy. And that can be so healing, even without pushing and forcing. And even when you're in a situation where you feel like it's so indifferent and nobody cares about the group, like everyone's just looking out for themselves, it's like your energy, just your energy, the presence of your energy could shift this. Because it's interesting, I'm really feeling like this is a reading for a light worker or a starseed. And again, if you don't resonate with light worker or starseed, then this literally could just be you realizing that your energy stands alone sometimes. And that doesn't mean that you're going to be alone forever, seeking healing and seeking company. I think that's your fear, is that where will I ever fit in this world? And maybe even with relationships specifically, because, it's interesting. I just feel like you think you're going to be alone forever because you can't find a group that fits with your energy. And, I feel like we're going to pick an oracle card here to close this reading, but it makes me feel like you're sort of being guided to keep going, to keep tapping into your creativity, no matter who you're around and no matter who you're with, and to almost choose who you collaborate with more consciously, right? Like, I feel like you can't spend too much time in these groups, because it must wear on you a bit. And I feel like this is almost something that you're very sensitive to. So you pick up on it really quickly when things are out of alignment and it doesn't feel good for you. And you might try and smooth things over at your own expense. And then that leaves you feeling depleted and more alone, I think. And really like that out of balance in harmony is something that you pick up on very quickly. So seeing temperance as the potential outcome tells me that all will be well, and that you just need to stay focused on expressing yourself, and that I feel like the right collaborators will come along, that you will meet your people. Let's see what oracle card you get for closing this reading. To be fair and yin are coming out for you. Isn't that interesting? So, that's interesting, Sagittarius, because we're seeing the yin card in reverse and to be fair coming out upright. And what that tells me for you is this idea that things are going to balance out. All will be well, right? Like things are going to balance out. And I think you're just needing to be open to meeting new people. Being open in general will really serve you right now. There is this sort of message of the law of cause and effect when you see that to be fair card. And it's interesting. I feel like there will be balance and fairness ultimately. And to trust that you're moving towards that there is a possibility where things will be balanced and all sides will be considered. And everyone will feel heard and valued, and it will be fair for everyone at some point. Seeing that message is a very nice confirmation that this situation has an opportunity to be in balance, right? So be patient. Be patient and keep shining your light on this situation. And keep being open to the flow of what you're receiving from this. And even if you're just receiving this sort of understanding that these aren't the people that you want to collaborate with, that in and of itself could shift things, right? So being open without demand or expectation to just receive and to allow yourself to be open to things and collaborate to offer your ideas, but don't feel like you have to fix anything. Let others come to you. You know what I mean? Let your energy be the lighthouse that attracts people to your vibration rather than trying to push it or force it. Yeah, it's interesting, Sagittarius. You're really needing to become that lighthouse. And I really feel like everything is going to work out. But you might need to change your expectations and your approach with this group or relationship or people or your perception of others in general. And don't hide out, don't go into isolation and shift into alignment with an energy that doesn't feel right for you. Hold fast, hold that lighthouse. You are the lighthouse. So keep that light shining. And it will attract. It will. Oh my goodness, this has been the longest reading this week. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again soon, my friends. Take care. Sending you so much love.